Have you ever looked deep inside your own soul? The Buddha says that within every human being, there is a sacred garden, a garden where the flowers of your peace bloom, where the trees of your dreams grow tall, and where the river of your joy flows. This garden is yours. Its care is your responsibility. But what do? We leave the gate to this garden wide open for everyone. Anyone comes in and tramples on the flowers of our peace. Anyone comes in and hangs the weight of their expectations on the branches of our dreams. Anyone comes in and fills their bucket from the river of our joy. And we just stand there and watch, with a weak smile. Why? Because we can't bring ourselves to write one small word on that gate. No, today, we're going to talk about that word, about the lock that protects the garden of your self-respect. According to the Buddha, no is not a negative word. It is the most positive and loving word your soul can speak. The Buddha explains, saying no is a superpower. Today's journey is about reawakening that superpower within you. We will peel back the deep layers of guilt, fear, and shame that stop us from speaking our truth. We will understand how the habit of saying yes to others is actually a tragic process of saying no to ourselves. We will see how your own sacred garden is slowly turning into a barren wasteland. So listen to these words with your entire being. This is not just a conversation. It is a commitment to rebuild the walls of your own garden. Because the Buddha says, the person who does not protect their own boundaries will ultimately lose their own soul. According to the Buddha, we are afraid to say no because of certain deep-seated fears that often operate beneath our awareness. The first and deepest fear is the fear of abandonment. We feel that if we say no to someone, they won't like us, they will leave us all alone. This fear comes from our childhood experiences, where being a good child meant always having to say yes to our parents. The Buddha says, we start to believe that our value depends on how useful we are to others, not on who we are. We forget that our value is inherent, like the sunlight, which doesn't need anyone's approval to shine. The second deep fear is the fear of being seen as selfish. And this is where the greatest confusion arises. You are a good person. You genuinely want to help others, but your energy is depleted. Your mind is exhausted. Still, when someone asks you for help, a battle begins inside you. One part says, I have to help, otherwise I'll be selfish. The other, tired part says, I just don't have the strength. In this battle, guilt often wins. The Buddha explains, this is a misunderstanding of compassion. True compassion always begins with yourself. The Buddha says, if your own cup is empty, how can you fill the cup of another? Taking care of your own garden is not selfishness. It is your responsibility. Only a beautiful and thriving garden can offer shade and fruit to others. A barren garden is of no use to anyone. The Buddha is not against helping. He is against the kind of help that leaves you hollow. He wants to turn you from a tired, irritable, and resentful helper into a calm, energetic, and joyful one. The third fear is the fear of conflict and anger. Many times we know we should say no, but we want to avoid the argument, the tension, and the potential anger from the other person that might follow. According to the Buddha, saying yes seems like the easy way out in that moment, but it is a shortcut that eventually leads off a very steep cliff. When you suppress your truth and say yes, you don't avoid the conflict, you just internalize it. And it continues to grow inside you in the form of bitterness and resentment until one day it completely destroys your peace of mind and the relationship itself. And the fourth fear is the fear of financial insecurity. This is a very big and practical fear in today's world. At the office, we are afraid to say no to our boss or an important client. We're afraid we might lose our job or that a big opportunity might slip away. We take on a workload that is far beyond our capacity. The Buddha explains, this fear reflects a lack of trust in our own abilities. When you know your own worth, you also know that losing one opportunity is not the end of the world. You learn to trust that if you stand in your truth, the right opportunities will come to you on their own. What is stripped away from our lives by this habit of not being able to say no? What is its impact on our soul? The Buddha explains, the first consequence is the constant drain of your energy. When the gate to your garden is always open, everyone comes and picks the flowers of your energy. You spend all your vitality fulfilling the wishes of others, solving the problems of others. According to the Buddha, you become like a bank that gives out loans to everyone, but has nothing left in its own account. And one day, you become emotionally and mentally bankrupt. This is the burnout after which you feel no interest in anything at all. The second consequence is a hidden poison that seeps into your relationships. When you say yes against your will, everything seems fine at first, but slowly, a bitterness, resentment, begins to grow in your mind towards that person. You start to feel that they are taking advantage of you. You feel angry with them in your mind, but you never say anything. The Buddha says, the truth is, it's not their fault. It's yours, because you didn't establish your boundaries. Your yes was a false yes, and every false yes eventually kills the honesty and respect in a relationship. The third consequence is the gradual erosion of your self-respect. According to the Buddha, every time you go against your truth and say yes, you send a message to your subconscious mind. You tell it that my needs, my feelings, my time are less important than the needs of others. And slowly, your self-respect begins to diminish. You stop valuing yourself, and there is a deep formula from the Buddha. When you don't value yourself, the world doesn't value you either. People treat you the same way you treat yourself. And the fourth, most tragic consequence is that you are no longer the main character in your own story. When the decisions in your garden are being made by someone else, which flowers will grow, which trees will be cut, you are no longer the master of your own garden. You become a watchman. The Buddha says, you are reduced from the hero of your own story to a supporting character. So how do we break free from this slavery of yes? How do we rebuild the walls of our garden? The Buddha's entire philosophy is based on a single principle, a little light of awareness, and the courage to bring it into daily practice. The first formula for awakening this superpower is to recognize your limits. The Buddha says, know yourself, understand your energy levels, understand the value of your time. Sit in a quiet place and draw a map of your garden. Ask yourself, what are my priorities? What things nourish my garden? And what things are like weeds? Where do I want to build my fences? Until you are clear about your own boundaries, how can you communicate them to others? Knowing your limits is not selfishness, it is self-knowledge. The Buddha's second teaching is to understand the feeling of guilt. When you start saying no for the first time, you will feel guilt. This is natural. The Buddha explains, observe that guilt like a cloud. Understand that this is your old conditioning. This is the voice that society, your childhood, has installed inside you. According to the Buddha, don't fight that feeling. Just watch it. And gently remind yourself, taking care of my garden is not selfish. It is necessary. This feeling of guilt will start to fade on its own over time, as the muscles of your self-respect grow stronger. The Buddha's third and most practical formula is practice, practice, and practice. This is an art that only comes with practice. Start with small, low-risk situations. If a salesperson is pressuring you to buy something, politely say, no, thank you. If a friend invites you to a place you don't want to go, say, I don't feel like it today, maybe some other time. The Buddha says, your no does not need a long explanation or an excuse. A simple, calm, and firm no is complete in itself. The more you practice, the easier it will become. There's a beautiful story of the Buddha. A man came to him and started insulting him. He was shouting abuses. The Buddha remained silent, listening calmly, like a mountain listening to the gusts of wind. When the man got tired, the Buddha asked him, if you bring a gift for someone, and that person refuses to accept the gift, to whom does the gift belong? The man replied, it belongs to me. The Buddha smiled and said, exactly. You brought me this gift of insults and anger, and I say no to accepting it. This story illustrates the ultimate power of saying no. The Buddha explains, saying no is not just about creating a boundary for others. It is about creating a protective shield around your own mind. It is about choosing whether or not you will allow external negativity, the demands of others, and unnecessary burdens to enter your inner world. When you learn to say no, according to the Buddha, a miracle happens. At first, some people might get upset with you because they will be uncomfortable with the new you. But slowly, the people who truly respect you will also learn to respect your boundaries. You will have more time and energy for yourself, for your dreams, and for your peace. Your relationships will become more honest and deep because they will no longer be based on obligation or guilt, but on genuine desire and respect. And most importantly, your self-respect grows. You begin to see yourself as a person who knows their own worth. Saying no is not about pushing others away. It is about coming closer to yourself. It is about conserving your energy so that you can invest it where it truly matters. If this quiet conversation has touched that inner suffocation that comes from not being able to say no, and you want to begin this journey of awakening your superpower, Then join this family. Subscribe to this channel so we can keep reminding each other that our no is just as sacred as our yes. And today, go to the comments and declare this newfound power. This will be a deep message to your own mind that you are now ready to protect your boundaries. Write, "My no is my power." Because according to the Buddha, the moment you learn to say no while honoring your truth, in that same moment, you are saying a true and powerful yes to everything that really matters in your life. Your peace, your joy, and yourself.